It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous morning, afternoon, or evening. Well, we're here in Chicago, and this is supposed to be our last day of summer, even though officially fall is here. But today it was 70, and I think well in the 70s, and they said that maybe in about 3 or 4 days we might hit in the upper 30s, and I still have flowers out there. But anyway, that's that. Well, have you gone to Kate Brown Healing Essentials? They are a sponsor of this show, and if you want some just magnificent, you want to experience magnificent aromatherapy, you got to go there. So now, when you replay this, go to www.katebrownhealingessentials.com. All right, today or this evening, I have this magnificent, wonderful guest on my show. I am so happy to have on my show because she is going to help us. She is going to help you. If you are an entrepreneur or even you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to know all about how to be visible, and I want to know how to be visible, I'm going to bring to you Dr. Patricia Rogers. So let me tell you just a little bit about Dr. Patricia Rogers before she comes on. She is a two-time award-winning international public speaker. She is a two-time international best-selling author. She is a very successful business coach and visibility strategist and an event organizer. When I grow up, I want to be just like Dr. Patricia Rogers. And I have a quote. An entrepreneur's value is not just in the product that they offer, but in the visibility that they cultivate. So without any further ado, I'm bringing you Dr. Patricia Rogers.
Woo-hoo. Come on. Come on.
Strategy.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Come on. Come on.
We can definitely hear you okay. But before we get started, I want to say this. I understand that you are a 29-year law enforcement retiree and a 12-year U.S. Armed Forces veteran. And I want to me, and my audience would like to thank you for your service in both of those areas. So I wanted to start off with that.
Thank
Oh, please, please. I was
you.
at a
Thank you. Thank
conference
you. Thank you.
today, and it was nothing but policemen and firefighters and veterans and all and what you all do and have done is extremely important. So
Yeah.
let's start out.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Pat. Can I call you Dr. Pat, or can I just call you Pat?
Dr. Pat is great. Dr. Pat is fine. Yeah,
Okay,
that'll work. That's me.
so okay. So now this show is called Relationship Matters, and what I want to do is this. Well, I know what you were doing before you became a visibility strategist, but why did you? When I'm looking back at your life as far as your service is concerned, so why did you decide that you wanted to become a visibility expert?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked that question because actually, I did not. I was doing. I only changed my name, and that was because of the pandemic. I was a business development
Okay.
before, but I've always been hosting virtual or networking events. Initially, they were
Okay.
live conferences, and they were annually, and people would fly from all over to come to the conference in Florida when I was in Florida. And what happened was, so I've always hosted events. I just have a passion for bringing people together, setting a platform so that public speakers, entrepreneurs, beginners, what they call them, entrepreneurs, anybody can get their message out there, practice whatever reason they need to get on stage or in front of other people. So we don't discriminate. And our theme is always entrepreneurs living the dream, because whatever people talk about is what they receive from their higher power. So I don't touch that. I just set the platform, which is what my instructions was from God. Just set the platform so that everybody can be served. Because I can't buy everybody product, but I can set a platform so that everybody can buy from each other. And after the pandemic is when my name changed, my position changed, the title really changed to visibility strategist. And that was because as I transitioned after the pandemic, I transitioned to online. Our coach, Nancy Matthews, she said to all of us, she said, don't change sight of your vision. All you have to do is pivot. So that was what I needed. I needed that push to get me started. So I started studying the Zoom platform. I was already using Eventbrite, and I knew I would be selling tickets online. I would have speakers would have to invest in their product, in their speaking opportunities. And education, I believe, is essential if we want to succeed in anything that we do. I believe that education. So I immediately jumped on Zoom, studied some YouTube, and I learned how to use the features so that I could run those features together smoothly with Eventbrite. And managing the platform for me is very essential, because you got to be in control of the platform. So I needed to know, and that's how. And after having my first event, uh, was a Zoom, I don't know what it was, a video training or something. And I had like over 80 some people. I had 100 some people registered, 101. I had about 80 people show up, and we had the ball of our life. But what happened was, for that event, as a bonus, I created virtual backgrounds for every individual that purchased a ticket, so that we could all kind of be uniform when we come onto the platform. And that became my brand. And then I got better and better, and and that's what we do. And other people are picking it up now because it just looks good when you are uniform. And that's when a lady, one of my colleagues, she texted me one day, and she said, you need to change your name to the visibility strategist. And that was because of the video training that I gave, some of the things I talked about, how we should show up, how we need to look professional, how, because people are not going to buy from anybody. We got to look the part. And that's really how visibility strategies came about. It was a recommendation that she had a download, and I received it because it made sense. And that's what I do. And that's what, then I teach people how to show up, because it matters when we're selling products and services. Many of us, I'm sure you can attest, would rather go into Macy's rather than Family Dollar.
All right.
Especially when we go into all those conferences that you be going with those gowns on. So it is what it is. We can't go to Dollar Tree and buy gowns and fancy shoes. We gotta go Macy's, Dillard, Lord and tell us all that. Yeah. So that's how that came about. And I loved it. It fit right in with me. And I've been doing it ever since. So that's how
Oh,
visibility strategies came about.
okay. So it came about, but I want to know. I mean, what made you even want to do that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, what in here made you even want to do that? Because once you came out of law enforcement, and the military, what made, I mean, what in here made you want to do that? Or did you do something before you decided to do what it is you do now?
Okay, great, 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 great. Yes, that takes me back to my beginning, Janice. That
Okay.
takes me back to the beginning. When prior to leaving corporate America, I knew that I would be retiring. And common sense told me, after seeing so many people, several people, a lot of people, they leave, they come back. Or they leave and I find out they're working at Home Depot. They leave, I find out they're working somewhere else. And I watched that scenario. And I knew that that would not be me, because if I'm going to work after I retire, I may as well stay where I am, because of the benefits and you know, and of course the salary. So I knew then that I needed to prepare, because I knew with the politics in the workplace and all of those things that I was going through as a Black woman, a smart woman, a beautiful woman, you know, yeah, I was caught up and I was constantly battling situations. When I would get on a promotional list, I was constantly being passed over, and I had to fight for my promotion 3 times on 3 separate occasions, which was my vision, was to retire as a corrections lieutenant. But every time I got on that list, I faced challenges, because it's always those people that want to stop you, because they see your glory when you don't even see what you possess. So I channeled through all of those things, and needless to say, those things that I channel through is really my signature speech when I do speak on platforms, about how we do not quit in the time of challenges. And basically what happened, so I started selling Legal Shield. I started going into the communities, going to events, setting up my event tables. Then I started hosting events in my backyard, because I wanted everybody to hear that I had Legal Shield. And I put them, the entrepreneurs was invited over to come in front of me and give their 60-second infomercial. That's how they got started. I paid for the DJ. I paid for the food. I rented the chairs, the tables, the tents. And I would have 60 to 70 people in my backyard. People love to eat, you know that. And then what happened was, I was networking, and I was at a networking event, because like I said, I was going into communities, I was going to various because I needed to find out what is it that entrepreneurs do. So I was in Legal Shield. I thought that's all I would be doing. I was doing quite well in that. I still marketed, but I was doing quite well in it. But one day, while at these events, I don't have a microphone. I can't really talk. I have to wait for people to come to my table. You know what I'm talking, when you're a vendor. And that's when I had a defining moment. One day God spoke to me. He said, you can set your own platform, host your own events, and that way I get more people in front of me when I present. And that was just the thinking I had. And then I joined WPN, and they coach me. They have coaching
WPN
programs.
is,
Yeah.
so people will know, because they'll ask, what is WPN? So what is WPN?
WPN is Women's Prosperity Network. And that is an organization that's been around for years. I've been there for 9 years, almost 10. And they have trained me. I've also been trained under Bill Walsh, International Power Team. I worked with Sharon Lecter in Arizona. I've taken her program. So before I retired, I started flying all over the place. Wherever somebody had, those 3 people had what I wanted, I jumped in there with both feet. I was taking out credit cards all kind of which way. Put some over here, put some over there, put some, because I was afraid. I didn't know what was coming. I was afraid of what I didn't know, the unknown. So I had to latch on to some people who had what I wanted. And I did that. And all 3 of them people, those individuals in different states, Arizona, Las Vegas, Bill, Nancy, them, and Trish was in Fort Lauderdale. All 3 of those coaches at different times told me, they said, you're already hosting events in your backyard, because they knew my story. They said, now all you have to do is monetize. And that's when I started going into hotels, selling tickets for the event. And I started, and speakers were speaking for free at that time. And as I began to do this every year, I started learning the process through training. And then the speakers started paying for their spots as well, because it's a lot of work when you're putting these events and things together. And I realized that that was my gift. My passion has always been bringing people together, even on the job, in church when I was little. I always like to have something, even my children, some party going on in the backyard, pool party. It was that's and I didn't know that was a gift, but they taught me that was my gift. And that's why it's very important for all of us to discover, what is it that we really enjoy doing? What turns you on? What makes you tick? Well, I love seeing people happy. I love seeing people succeed. And so therefore, this is why hosting events is so fulfilling for me. And that's really how I got started into hosting events. And before the pandemic, like I said, I was doing them manually. I do a lot of social media. People would see my content on social media, beautiful backgrounds out. They would reach out to me, and then they would invest in the speaking. And that's how we did it for a couple of years, about 2 or 3 years, probably about 6 years. And then after that, the pandemic hit. And
Yeah.
that year that the pandemic hit, I had a event scheduled for May the 14th, 2020, and I had to cancel that event because the doors closed, and I had to return over $14,000 back to all of the participants alone who had paid for that event. So we hadn't even began to sell tickets, and I ended up giving that back. And if you want to know what really drove me to
Okay.
make that transition to online, was the fact that I lost that money. How about that?
Yeah.
And I was determined to convince myself that I can make money online. And that's my message to the viewers. We all, but you got to make those connections. You got to connect with communities. And WPN, Women's Prosperity Network, I stayed, I'm still in that organization. And when you're in communities, people start to know you. They start to, and then they start to like you because they get to know you. And then what happens? Let me go see what she got going on. I would like to speak at the next event. So this is how it works.
Okay.
And after we've been anywhere long enough, it's called branding and branding. And I'm in several organizations that I'm in, but Women's Prosperity Network is where we do a lot of the training. The other organizations I'm in, I go out to speak, different things like that with them. But the training is what WPN has really assisted me on. And that's why I am where I am today, and Bill Walsh, of course. So that's what it was all about, and that's how I ended up where I am, and how I had to discover my gifts and my talents. And then I monetized them.
Wow. So you almost, I guess you just about answered my question, because I wanted to know, why is visibility so important to entrepreneurs? Sometimes, um, let's say someone to start a business, and they don't know, or they don't realize that it's the visibility, you know. So
Yes.
yeah. So why is
Visi-
it
use-
important?
mhm. Visibility is very essential. That's with anything that we do in life. If we're promoting something, and particularly, if we're promoting, because people are not just going to buy because my product is so good. I don't have the best, to some people, or myself, whoever. I may not have the best events in the world, but because I have events and people know that I have events, that puts me in a position, or a high, excuse me, that puts me at the top of the game. Because if you don't know, people don't know you exist, then they will never invest in what you have to offer. So visibility is essential. We have to be visible. And especially now, living in a virtual world, we're in a virtual world. That means I may never get to go to lunch with you. I may never get to sit down and get to really know you. All I know is what I see on face value. And I do get to know you because I was visible somewhere. You was visible somewhere. And then what happened? Our minds met, our hearts met. And that's what building relationships will do. And that's what it has to happen. It has to occur in order for us to be able to enhance our lifestyle by promoting the products and services that we provide. So visibility is essential. And I always say, if you're not there, whether it's at a networking event virtually, whether it's doing live videos, whether it's showing up on social media, commenting to other people's posts, whether you're posting or not, if you're not doing any of those things, I always say, if you're not there, nobody sees you. And if nobody sees you, you're not making money. And if you're not making money,
Right.
you don't have a business. And if you
You
don't
got a
have a
house.
business, you're not an entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah. Because you're right. It's not always who you know, but who knows you.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
great.
And
That's right.
yeah. So okay. So
I like that. That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
a question came in. So what do you do with entrepreneurs who need visibility, because you're a coach, but are too shy to appear on a live event or on one of your events?
Ooh, that's good. I love that kind of stuff. Well, what I'm known for is making you get up, suit up, and show up. And that's something I pride myself in because, yes, people are afraid to speak. People are afraid of what other people will say. People, and this is why we need coaches. Because a lot of us have gifts and talents inside of us and we don't even know they exist. And we have the ability, but when a person is an expert in what they do, they see those things before you even, they see those things without even a conversation sometimes. And so therefore what I do is I encourage you, I inspire you. I can't make you, but I inspire my clients to get over the fear. Because as long as you stay there, you're never gonna move. You're never gonna reach your plateau. You're never gonna go to the next level in your life. And sometimes all it takes is just to know somebody cares enough. But what happens now? I'm going in. What happens now? Sometimes because people are stuck in that moment, they feel all kind of excuses. Well, I'm not gonna pay. And they first of all want to worry about the cost. Second of all, one of the major things I believe, even when people have the money, if they really want it, they'll do it. But what I believe is sometimes because people lack confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I might not finish the course. Well, I better not do because no. You, my friend, have to step out on what we call faith.
Yeah.
And step out on faith.
Very true.
When you find that person that interests you, that you feel is the right person, you're gonna still be afraid. But guess what? Sometimes we got to step out on faith because God drops things in our spirit, and when we ignore it, guess what happens? We stay right where we are because He's going right on to the next person. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I do not. Yeah. So that's why I say, so you got to get over that. And like I said, all you need is a nudge. All you need is a push. And as you coach, no matter who it is, I'm sure I could probably speak for any coach, no matter who it is, once you start the process, see, that's where you got to get started. You got to take that leap. Once you start the process, after a while, it becomes easy. It's just like riding a bicycle. But as long as that spiritual being, I call it the devil, I'm going in, I'm just going to speak like I talk. As long as he can keep you with all those negative thoughts and all those what ifs and all, you're going to stay stuck for the rest of your life. Because if you're waiting until you get it right before you get started, you're going to be stuck the rest of your life. That's just the way it is.
And that's very true. And I think I like what you said, and especially for people, because I know entrepreneurs who, when you tell them, you should really try to speak at an event. Oh, no. I can't do that, and oh no, I don't want to get in front of people or whatever. But like you say, you're right. That is that old devil that's telling them you can't do that, because you can have the best product, but if nobody knows it, nobody knows you won't sell anything. But you can have so product, but people know you,
right?
And they see you, because people buy you, and that's why.
That's right.
That's why that visibility part to me is so. It's so important. So I got to take a quick commercial, and when I come back, I'm going to delve a little bit more into your event that is coming up. Okay? Okay. So no, I don't want anybody to go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back because this event is special. Wow.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Nice. Nice. Nice.
About your event. I put your event video on first before I did the commercial.
Oh, I thought you did it deliberately. I wouldn't have never known.
I never
Yeah.
succeeded.
Oh, well,
Girl,
I
you
was
made
happy
me.
with it. I was satisfied. I mean, I'm good. I'm
I'm like,
good.
you made me look so good on that thing. I'm like, woo, lottie. So tell
Yeah, it
us
came out
more.
nice.
Tell us more about the event. It's and I'm going to play it again because I see so many people whose messages are messages that a lot of people would really benefit from. So tell us a little bit more about that event that's coming up.
Well, yeah. This is our final event. This is our sixth event for the year. I schedule my events out for the year as to how many events I'm going to have. Sometimes we have workshops, sometimes we have conferences, and this is one of our conferences basically. And this is our final event, almost our final conference for the year. And we have I normally bring in some what we call experts as well as influencers who have over 30 years. And those are the people who have trained me or I have some kind of connection with that have poured into me. They may be Jim Lutz, Nancy Matthews, Women's Prosperity Network, Trish Carr. Some of these individuals have platforms. So I try to bring people in so that people will understand who they are, what they do, because it would broaden their network if they, latch on and take advantage of some of the free gifts that they put out. Whether it's especially the events and things of that nature, free memberships and things of that nature, so that they can see. And Susie, but some of these people have over 40 years in the industry of entrepreneurship. And those are the ones that we need to hear from. Those are the ones that teach us, and let us know that if they can last that long, then guess what? Quitting is not an option in our book either. We have to follow them, do what they do, and hang in there, because this is why we need to come to events. Because a lot of times for $37 for a ticket, right now the tickets are only $15. But I brought you all some heavy hitters. All of us are experts in our own right. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about some of these people who have over 30 and one in particular over 40 years in the industry. And I'm going to say this, just the fact that we can connect with people like that speaks volumes about where we are personally. And I know, they say if you hang around, you are who you, other people that you are who you hang around, the people you hang around. So
Yeah.
if you're
Yes.
hanging around me by attending my events, then of course that's going to raise your opportunity to connect with people who are in the industry, who have a lot more time in the industry, and of course a lot more wisdom.
Yeah.
So I just try to set that platform so that nobody walks away without anything. They're going to walk away with emails. If you're not building your email list, that's not good, because in order for you to sell a product, Janice, and I know, you got to have an email list. And that email list, you got,
Yeah.
so a lot of these things, we hear a lot of nuggets and different things about a lot of these different things that you don't even have to pay for coaching. Just take what you get from all of the speakers that resonates with you and implement them, because that's the only way we're going to succeed in anything, is to implement the processes that have been laid out before us. And $37 for a ticket, that's chump change. And I know
Yes,
my
it is.
events are well worth $97, or more. But because of the love and the energy we put in, all of our attendees receive a virtual background at our expense. They receive a virtual background, because our goal, all of our participant speakers like yourself receive a virtual background, but yours is customized with your photo on it. The reason I do that is because people are always watching. And if I
Mm.
show up professionally, if I look good when I'm showing up, guess what? People will follow you. People will mimic you, and they'll take some of the ideas that you've thrown out there, put their little spin on it. And because at the end of the day, for me, Military uniform. I had to wear a uniform. In law enforcement, 29 years uniform, put on a uniform every day. I realized that when you got everybody's on the same page, you may have a woman in the platoon that may be 200 pounds and everybody else is like 150, maybe 100 pounds. That woman that's 200 and some pounds, when we're all standing in formation, that doesn't even matter because they're saying they look good because we're all on the same page. And this is what I produce when I host these events. I want everybody to come in. And another reason I use virtual backgrounds is because we want the distractions. People come on driving cars, cats in the lap, dogs in the lap, nothing against that, but that's not the time or place. Because Janice, if you're speaking and I'm doing all this getting up, moving around, and I'm not closing my camera, they just lost sight of what you're saying. And that's what I said earlier about managing my platform. My team, we have to manage the platform. When we see somebody, I had one lady in the shower. I was at an event, doing an online event. Somebody texted me, said, you got a lady in the shower. Because I knew the platform, because I knew how to work that platform, I was able to close her camera. So this is why training is essential.
That had to be during COVID.
No, I don't remember when it was, but her camera was on. And it could have been around that time because people now, a lot more people are acclimated to the Zoom. But before, we were all learning. Yeah. We all started at ground zero, and that's another reason I jumped right in, learn how to do that, because from the millionaire, the billionaire, all of them, everybody was at ground zero. So that was the time to learn Zoom. And that was the time nobody felt left out because we were all struggling trying to figure this thing out.
So now people want to attend. It's right across the bottom here in the lower third, rsvpleaderslead.eventbrite.com.
Right. So, and it should have been a period behind P because a space, because they're going to think that's all one word. It's leadership, leaderslead.eventbrite.com. Leaderslead.eventbrite.com is where you go to get your ticket. Wait a minute.
Where should a period go? You said a space between the R.
It should be R period, S period, V period. If I didn't do that, I'm sorry. That's my fault. Yeah, I have it up there. I don't know why you got it. I have it up there. R period, S period, V period, P period. Okay. And then it says leaderslead.eventbrite.com. That's the hold on. That's where they would go.
R.S.V.P.
Space.
And then a space.
Yes.
Leaders lead.
And you could put the number 2 @ sign between that after the space.
Oh, at. All right.
The @ sign.
At. Okay,
I should have put it in. I should have put it in there like that, but I didn't do it.
Okay, so let's see. We got to make this right.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. If anybody that really wants to come to the event, they'll figure it out. We all smart individuals. They'll figure it out. But it's leaderslead.eventbrite.com. And most of us know about Eventbrite. So, yeah. And then, of course, they could probably just Google me. It'll come up. A whole lot of stuff will come up when they Google me. But yeah, that's good enough, honey. That's great.
Okay. So a question came in now. Gwendolyn Dunbar. She says, besides the benefit of overcoming the fear of speaking, what are the financial and the promotional benefits of a project?
Okay, I'm going to take it that I'm going to take it she's asking me, what does it cost to be a speaker in one of our events? And that's a good question. I think that our prices are very minimal. I did put my calendar link in the chat. I would rather not throw out prices online. I would rather you meet with me because when you talk about the benefits, you're right. There are a lot of benefits, quite a few benefits. I can throw out a few, but normally I meet with people online because I want them to see the value that they're getting. But again, I did hit on the virtual backgrounds. They're getting the virtual backgrounds. They're getting replays of the event, even if they pay for a ticket, $15 right now. We got the early bird. You're going to get the replay, and then they're going to get emails because we make sure people put emails in the chat, so they walk away with value. A lot of people are not going to see to it that you get emails. Now, if you are a speaker, you don't have to get that chat. You're going to get an actual exported email list of attendees sent to you personally, and all you have to do is import. We don't want our speakers going through no chat to get no information. No, 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 no. That's too time consuming. And then you're going to also receive a copy of your presentation cut and edited. That means, it's going to be really nicely put together so that you can post it on your video channel, because content is king and it lasts forever. And you can also cut it up into bits and pieces, because a lot of entrepreneurs, some don't have content. Well, I don't have no content to post. Well, if you speak on our platforms, you'll have some content. And then you talk to your somebody else, a social media person, or you can get me and my team will cut it up for you into bits and pieces. Now you got enough content for, depending on the time limit that you speak, to post on social media so that people will get to see you and know you. And then of course we give you an individual promotion with just your picture on it personally, so you can promote that event, because you're not just promoting the event, you're promoting yourself, because you want people to know, well, I speak. I get so many engagements just because I'm on social media. People are going to look for those people who are moving in that direction that they need. And so this is why content is so essential. Now, for speaking opportunities, we have a 7-minute speaking spot, which we call the spotlight, 7-minute spotlight speaker. We have the 15 minutes, which we call TEDxX. We just added another X because it's 15 minutes. And then we have the 30-minute speaking opportunity. You speak on whatever topic God gives you to speak on. That's not my job. I don't tell people what to talk about. You talk, you speak, and then of course, a few of those minutes at the final, you get question and answers. You bring your information, you drop your link in the chat. You can promote, you can sell in your speaking opportunity. I've gone to some summits. They don't want you to sell. They only want you to give away something free. This is why it's important to monitor where you go and make sure your first question is, what's in it for me? What's in it for me?
Right.
But speaking to groups is one of the best ways. Pay, some are pay. I'm sorry, some platforms are free, and some there is a fee. There is a fee for our platform, and each of those spots have different costs to them, because, like I said, because of the timeline. But events are a business, and the time it takes to set up a platform, learn all of the tools that we need to succeed, yes, those are our intellectual properties. Hosting this event here, this podcast, this is your intellectual property. And I'm going in. I don't think that some people get it. It's not fair for me to come on Janice's platform, and she had to set up this, Dr. Janice had to set up this platform. She had to send me out the promotion. She had to send me out the link. She had to do all of that stuff for me to come on her platform for free. And then I'm going to talk about selling tickets to my event. That don't add up to me. That don't add up to me. And I get that sometimes. They'll schedule with me, and they'll come talk to me. And then they get through talking, when they realize it costs money. Okay, well, I'll probably reach out to you another time. Well, what entrepreneur wants people expects, and a lot of them do. Why is it that an entrepreneur expects to get free, but they want people to buy their stuff? I don't get that. I ain't never got that.
Free.
That don't add up for me. And I'm gonna tell you something else about that. That's another reason why some people don't succeed, because they're takers. The gifts don't come from us. The money don't come from us. God touches the hearts of the people that he wants to service you. That's what I believe. That's what I practice. It works for me. My life is not mine. I give myself to God because he created me for his purpose. He already know. He already know how many people coming to this event. He already know. And so therefore I trust him. I trust the process. And I'm grateful for whoever shows up, because whoever shows up is who he wants to show up for me, to do what I need to do and what I was called to do. And when we look at it like that and stop looking at so many numbers, and we miss the whole message. The point of it is, our job as entrepreneurs is to be a blessing, to enhance the life of people who God allows to come and connect with us. And we
Girl,
all need each other. So don't come on my platform expecting to come free. We don't do free, because I work too hard. I work from sun up to sundown to make sure all of the people that I serve are getting carte blanche, top of the line, 100%. I take pride in that. I take pride in that.
honey, look, I need to cut that part out of this video and just keep playing it, playing it, playing it, playing it, playing it, because that's so true. People, like they expect to get stuff for free. Oh, I have to pay to be on your podcast. Oh no, and it's like, wait a minute, it's gonna be on YouTube, so it's gonna be on forever. So if somebody clicks on there and you talked about your product, you know, for the nominal fee, and like you said, they don't. Well, sometimes people look at things and it looks easy because it's done so well, but you do yours so well, and they don't know all what it takes in the background to put on anything. But if people want to get in contact with you, that's your link. They can go to your Calendly.com.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I'm going to keep running it across there. Another question came in that was from a Sandy Barney Ennis, and what she wanted to know was where your event was, but it is going to be it's virtual, Sandy.
It's virtual.
Yeah, it's virtual, and I'll put it up there again where you can. Here, let me put it up here again, where you
Yeah,
can.
it's virtual. It's right
Yeah.
on site.
So
On Zoom.
So Sandy, that's the link to go on Eventbrite if you want to attend, because it is virtual. So I told you time was going to go by fast. So here was another question that came in right quick. It says, no one
I'm good.
makes it in this life alone. So who was the one person that inspired you the most?
The one person that inspired me the most,
Yeah.
was my mom. I would say it was my mom, because, and I'm going to tell you why. Not that my mom was doing this, but I'm going to tell you why. Because my mom took me to church when I was little. My mom made me go to church when I didn't want to go to church. My mom made me go to church when I didn't even have time to do my homework. I was in church. My mom made me go to church, and by so doing, it taught me who God was. And because I didn't appreciate him then, as I grew older and I developed a relationship, I had to learn that mom was no longer taking me to church. And I would get in situations in life that was difficult. But because I had that upbringing, that teaching that said all things work together for good. All things. He didn't say it had to be good. All things, meaning the bad and the good. So I trusted what I had been trained and taught, that this thing, okay, God, I belong to you. They say you love me. You're going to take me through this. And he has done that all my life. Because I have made some rotten decisions in my life. I have made some bad judgment calls. But you know what? I can sit here today and say that everything that went bad at that time, that I thought it was the end of the world, even if it was a bad relationship, God brought me through it. And today, I'm living my best life. Why? Because I've learned to love myself. I'm the second person, because you cannot put your confidence in people. You have to put your confidence in your higher power, which I choose to call God. And then I have to put it in myself. So thus my inspiration is me. I'm going in. Aside from God, My inspiration is me because I know what I've gone through. I know what I've come through, and I know the value that I possess. And therefore, I know that God don't make no junk. He ain't doing
All
it.
right. So, Dr. Pat, you are an author, an internationally best-selling author, and let's see. We want to look at. I want you to tell us about your book.
Okay. This book talks about in-person and virtual events that rock. And initially it was talking about in-person events before the pandemic. And I had finished the book. We almost had it on Amazon. We had to take it down. The sample was on Amazon. We had to take it down because the pandemic showed up, because it was only about live conferences that I was hosting. And then when the pandemic hit, I was a little bit disappointed. My dreams, I felt, had gone up in smoke. And what happened was, as time progressed, and when the doors opened up again, I forgot all about the book. But like I said, that divine power, God, He spoke to my heart and He said, okay, now's the time to pull the book out. And we're going to rebirth the book. And all you have to do is add in that book what you did to transition to online, because virtual is here to stay. And that was my way of bringing this book back. So I changed the title of it to In Person and Virtual Events That Rock, because our events definitely, you're going to be inspired if you come, if you show up, and if you on camera. But when you come and you got your camera hidden behind camera and you up in the bedroom or you somewhere else doing something else trying to fool the public, don't even waste your time coming. I'm going in. Don't even come. If you don't come and do what we do intentionally, then what's the use? What's the use? So, because it's not always about a dollar. It's about what God has put in front of you and me that will help assist us to the next level in our life, because we all have a purpose. And if we're not content, it's because something else is missing on the inside. And until we seek it out, we will not find it. And this book is really for people who host events already. They can get some of my tips and strategies to improve or make better, to add to what they already know. Those people who want to host events and they're doing it for free, well, my book's going to tell you how to charge, how to make money, because events are a business and free does not pay the bills. And that's right. And the book is going to tell you how to avoid some of the processes that goes along with hosting an event that will mess up the event, that will break it down, cause some breakdown in the event process. So we kind of walk you through the things that you need to do, the things that you need, the resources that you need when you're hosting in-person events. We're going to talk about how, in this book, we talk about how to promote your event with ease, some of the systems that you can use that will allow you to promote your product, promote your event easily. And it's all about training. Everything we do is about training. It's going to tell you some lot of great tips and strategies that talk about social media, Facebook Messenger, different systems that we think that's not important and that does not give us visibility. Text message give you visibility. Facebook Messenger give you visibility. You don't just visibility is not just the person seeing your face value. Visibility is you showing up, whether it's via text, whether it's via Facebook, talking to people. That's what builds relationships, and that's what brings on visibility. And you'll also learn how to raise your level of authority through hosting events, because when you host an event, your name is out there. Trust me when I tell you, because a lot of people that would normally come to you for, let's say, a coaching package, they'll come to that event because you're setting a
Yeah,
platform
that's true.
that has a whole lot of other people on there, not just me, but other people that have
Yeah.
value. And if you're intentional about what you need, because we don't know what you need yet. If I'm intentional about what I need when I go to that event, God's going to put it right in front of me. It is what it is.
So,
That's my story.
so
I'm
we
sticking
got
to it.
sticking to it. All righty. So this last question was two questions, but I think we don't have time for one. If I am starting out as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give me?
Schedule with me and let's talk about what you want. What do you want out of life? What do you want? What are you looking for? And that's the best thing I can tell you. Schedule with somebody, because you can't figure it out on your own. You don't know what you don't know. But schedule with somebody. If you're just starting out, you need a coach. Coaches need coaches. I got coaches. And I'm always have coaches. But if you don't want to make that investment in yourself, then you're going to stay where you are. You're going to keep trying to get bits and pieces, make it work. It ain't going to work because you got to get the whole pie. You can't just take a piece of the pie. You got to get the whole pie. You're your biggest investment. And I strongly encourage you, call me. If you don't do nothing but call me, if you don't do nothing but call, let's have a conversation. You got to start learning how to build relationships. That means you got to pick up that heavy 500-pound phone. And you got to take that leap. Because somebody on the other end is waiting. And I'm waiting on you, whoever you are. How about that?
Okay, so where can they reach you if they don't do Calendly? How else can they reach you, Dr. Pat?
They can reach me on Facebook, Dr. Patricia Rogers. Go to Facebook, put me up there in the search. My name will pop up. I am the lady in red. They can Google me, and Google will probably have my phone number and all of that stuff in there. I don't have a problem with people calling me. 786-515-5015. But I already know how they feel about
it. Girl. I'm going to put it in here.
It's in the chat.
786.
515-5015.
515-5015.
And then link to my book. They can get this. They can get this book now for they can get this book for $2.99 on Kindle. So y'all can just put Dr. Rogers in Amazon. That's why I wrote this book, because it's a legacy. And I got tired of all these collaboration books. I mean, you got to look up the name of the book in order to find the book. Well, now guess what? Put Dr. Patricia Rogers in Amazon books and watch me pop up. So if you want to buy the book, it's $35 online. If you want to get the Kindle, you have Kindle, you can get it for $2.99, right? It's small, but it's there. And then if you want to get a signed copy from me, all you have to do again is reach out to me. Text me. You don't have to call me. Just text me. Just text me. Okay. Tell me I heard you today and I would love to connect with you. And I'm going to say, oh, great. Let's connect on Facebook Messenger. So, or I can call you. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a people person. But I know how the world is. People don't like to pick up them phones. But I'm open 24/7. And I am here to serve. And I always believe one of my coaches told us, he said you'll sleep when you die. Sometimes people are like, do you ever sleep? Because they see me plucking away 2-3 o'clock in the morning on Facebook. Well, I'm retired. I sleep late. But the bottom line is this: I have stayed up to daylight sometimes, because if I'm on a mission to do what I have to do, and I know I got to give people excellence, these events is what I love. And like they say, when you do what you love to do, you're not working. You're not working. I had to stop my event to get ready for this thing. I was working on bios for my speakers. I was putting them on YouTube. Y'all go to YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
We got 1 minute. Yeah. And I got to say this for you Toastmasters out there, Dr. Pat Rogers is also a Toastmaster. What's the name of your club? I just need to know. What's the name of your club?
I just joined this club. Don't ask me that. I'm in with Dr. Lawana.
All right. Okay. But Dr. Pat, thank you so much. I told you the time was going to go by fast. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I really appreciate it. You have given us so much value. I haven't given an event in quite some time, but I'm going to get your book.
Oh.
Because I'm planning on doing an event. And I know that you can help me out. But thank you so much.
That's what I teach on.
Yeah. And I'll see you again. I'll see you on WPN.
Absolutely. And definitely on October the 21st, you'll be one of our speakers. And I thank you so much.
Girl, let me play this again before we go. All righty.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. No, you know what? I'm going to put it on. I'm not going to play it now. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page.
You could close with it. Girl,
I got to close with my own stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, that's good, too. Yeah, that's good, too. Yeah.
Okay, girl. So have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening.
Enjoy. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.